Greetings, relatives. My name is Desiree, and I'm the Housing Stability Specialist at the American Indian Family Center in St. Paul. Welcome to Hot Topics in Housing, Episode 2. COVID-19 has affected every aspect of our lives these days, including apartment hunting. If you're looking for a new place, it's important that you pay close attention and ask to see specific things during your virtual tour so you don't miss anything that may be out of sight. The bait and switch scheme is at an all-time high right now, and getting out of the leases that come along with those is extremely difficult. So here are 5 things to consider when taking virtual apartment tours. Checking that the lights and appliances are working and the water runs and has good pressure. So traditionally, when I'm going to look at an apartment in person, I will check all the appliances myself. But in this case, you can't. So you want to ask the leasing agent to turn on the stove, turn on all the burners, make sure they all come on, open up the oven door, make sure the light comes on, make sure it's clean inside there. If there's a microwave in the unit, have them just run a quick cycle, make sure that that is functional. With the fridge, have them open up the door, have them open up the freezer, make sure the lights come on and make sure it looks clean. As far as the water pressure goes, I always turn on the faucets in the bathroom and in the kitchen. Make sure that there's good water pressure, make sure that the water is draining down. Also with the shower, turning on the shower head, making sure that there's good pressure there, there's no clogs. Turning on the bathroom faucet to make sure that that also has good pressure. And have them flush the toilet. Nothing worse than getting into a place and finding out it takes forever for that toilet paper to go down. Ask about mold and water damage. The most common place I have experienced mold during my apartment living has been in the bathtub. As you can see from the top left picture, it's very noticeable and detectable. Asking your leasing agent to give you a close-up of this area, you'll see black or brown spots in the caulking, and that is an indication of mold. Another place to look for mold would be under the kitchen and bathroom sink. As you see in this bottom middle picture here, it's going to have black spots, black lines, possibly some warped boards. That's also an indication of, like I said, mold or water damage. Checking the ceiling for water spots or bubbles in the paint, that will tell you that there's been some water damage, which can also mean mold in the ceiling or in the walls. Another uncommon place that people don't check for water damage during a tour would be carpet. If you're lucky enough to have short carpet, you will easily be able to see some water stains on the carpet, and which is an indication of either a current or previous water problem, pipes or what have you. For some people who have children who are sensitive to mold or they themselves have mold allergies, this may be a deal breaker, and just because it's virtual does not mean that you have to skip over this part. It should not be too much to ask your leasing agent to give you close-ups of these spaces. Ask the leasing agent to open the doors and the windows to demonstrate they open and close easily and that the windows have screens. If a security entrance is promised for the property, ask for proof of functionality. Making sure that the windows open easily is a safety issue. If there's a fire or any other emergency where you would have to use the window as an exit, you do not want to find out then that it's hard to open your windows. Making sure they have screens. You want to keep those pesky mosquitoes out in the summer, and you don't want to have to wait once it gets hot to ask for maintenance to come and take care of that. So just make sure that they're there before you move in. Doors opening and closing easily. I personally lived in a place that had a bedroom door I had to sort of pick up to close all the way. Annoying, not completely a deal breaker, but you don't want to have to mess with it if you don't need to. You should have doors that function nicely. With a security entrance, you want to make sure that the leasing agent shows you that it functions. Have them go outside the building, shut the door all the way, and pull on the door to make sure that it actually locks and that you need a key or a code to get in. Ask to see the common areas and amenities. What you're looking for when you're asking to see these spaces is basically cleanliness and upkeep. You want to make sure that there's not a lot of trash on the ground. Are the mailboxes nice and neat, and do they look functional? Is the gym mirror cleaned? That's something I look at. If the mirror is not clean, that means maintenance is not taking care of it. Is the playground full of garbage, or are there kids playing outside? Is the dog park nice and picked up? Are there bags available for you to pick up your animal's waste? That sort of thing. Just kind of getting a general idea of the upkeep of these areas, because that can reflect how they're keeping the building as a whole. If you can, visit the property in person. You may not be able to go in and see the unit itself, but what you want to do is go during a busy time, 5, 6 o'clock at night when people are getting off work. You get an idea of the noise in the area. You get an idea of what kind of parking spaces are available. Is the parking lot full, and are you going to be forced to park on the street? And you get a general idea of how the building looks. Is the paint kept up? Is the lawn kept up? It's just good to kind of visit the area if you can, to get a sense of what you're going to be dealing with during the time you're going to be home. Ask for some sort of proof that the unit you've been shown is a unit you're signing a lease for. Sometimes apartments like to stage a unit, or show you one of the really nicest units, and then when you get in, it's just not the unit that you looked at. So one way to do that is just to have them put something in the lease saying that on this day and time they showed you this unit. Also taking maybe screenshots or recording the virtual visit, to kind of show that this is the unit that you looked at, to kind of compare when you actually get to the place physically. Also asking to have verbiage added to the lease about the unit being shown virtually versus in person. As I said at the beginning of this PowerPoint, the bait and switch is super big right now. People are getting shown apartments and getting there, and it's not what they've actually been shown or what they were looking for, and they've already signed a lease. And it's extremely difficult to get out of those leases, but maybe adding some things about it being virtually shown could help in your case if you need to get out of the lease. And make sure you're reading over the entire lease before you sign. Oftentimes we get so excited and we're so ready to get out of the place that we're in, we just kind of skim things over and sign. But I can't stress enough how important it is to just really try to take some time and read over the lease to catch things that might potentially affect you down the line. Some places are only doing virtual tours during the COVID-19 pandemic. Do not let that deter you or prevent you from being just as thorough. Looking for a place during these crazy times does not mean that you have to lower your expectation or settle for something less. Do not be scared to ask for close-ups. Do not be scared to ask for more pictures, and do not be scared to ask as many questions as you need to feel comfortable in your decision. If you or you know someone that needs assistance with a rent payment, a deposit, or utility payment, please reach out to the American Indian Family Center. We are a culturally specific organization and give priority to American Indian individuals and families. Thanks for joining me for another Hot Topics in Housing, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.